economy. Now, Okonjo-Iweala, a former two-time Nigerian Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy, gave the commendation during an interview with journalists. Shortly after a closed-door meeting with President Tinubu. Also yesterday, at a separate event that saw the launch of a $50 million Women Exporters in the Digital Economy Fund in Abuja, the WTO Director General tasked the West African country and Africa by extension to tap into the $4.25 trillion global digital trade to enhance its fortunes. But before we go into all of that, let's give you, like they say, the proverbial horse's mouth. So let's get to hear from Dr. Okonjo-Iweala.
The president embarked on some reforms at the initial stage of his administration, and now he's told Nigerians that
the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy, and you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy. So the reforms have been in the right direction. What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship. So that's the next step. How do we build social safety net to help Nigerians cushion the hardship they are feeling? And then how do we grow the economy so we can create more jobs and put more money in people's pockets? These are issues that we discussed with Mr. President.
Okay, the president embarked on some
So you heard it there, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo, shield Nigerians from the impact of sweeping reforms, right? Now, since taking office in 2023, President Tinubu has removed long-standing fuel subsidies, unified multiple exchange to become a challenge this morning. You can send your views and comments via text message and SMS, a text message, SMS, and of course using our WhatsApp portal. Our WhatsApp number and SMS number, which is the studio line, is 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 let's hear your thoughts on the position of Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala after her closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu yesterday at the of state governors, right? For instance, in Lafia, Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State said that the subsidy regime under the Tinubu administration is different from the Petroleum Tax Force (PTF) of the Abacha regime and Shopi of the Goodluck Jonathan administration. He stated that the money realized from subsidy removal is being maximally utilized by all tiers of government for the development of states. Now, Sule spoke while hosting members of the Forum of Former Local Government Council Chairman alongside members of the Forum of Former Local Government Councillors in the state, right? And who were on a solidarity visit to Government House. Now, according to the administration, had been able to settle part of the gratuity of members of the forum, a gesture that necessitated a solidarity visit. Now, some of the elected council officials left office in the 1970s, but had yet to receive their benefits. Wow. So, he recalled the poor economic situation he inherited in 2019, saying, and I quote, "We came in when local governments were having difficulty in even paying full salary. That was the situation we found on the ground. It's the same thing with a pension. Today, the local governments are boasting of 5 billion naira and not an average of 2 billion naira or so." The governor recalled that during the Sani Abacha regime, when there was the withdrawal, we did not have dualization of Shandam Road. We didn't have dualization of Akwanga Road. We also never saw the dualization in Kefi. We didn't see any of those. But today, we are not only seeing development in our senatorial zones headquarters, we are also seeing development in every town and some rural areas. These are some of the places where the money is going. In addition to that, all the tiers of government still have savings. So that is the reaction of Governor Sule of Nasarawa State. We are, in his words, we are making giant strides with subsidy withdrawal fund, says Sule. And of course, another governor has also shared similar view with regards to subsidy withdrawal. Governor petrol subsidy removal freed up cash to enable governors undertake projects for the benefit of their people. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba said this yesterday. Well, Mba stated this when Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris visited him. Don't forget, the government is visiting key states in the southeast, Enugu, and I think today they should be on their way to Ebonyi. Yes, well, Idris arrived in Enugu for a 2-day citizens engagement series in the southeast geopolitical zone. Also yesterday, Mba took a giant stride to modernize transportation in Enugu with the inauguration of 5 ultra-modern transport terminals in various parts of the state, in line with his integrated blueprint for a modern and multimodal transport ecosystem. Now, receiving Idris, Mba said, and projects. So he listed some of the projects as including building of 7,000 classrooms, 3,003 hospital beds, and 2,000 hectares of 260 farm estates across 260 wards of the state. Now, Mba also pledged more support for the policing policies of the federal government, saying they are in the best interest of the people. So I'm beginning to wonder, are all of these political endorsements part of the endorsement 27, or are they actual facts? I mean, you tell me, what do you think? Because, basically, you and I are the receiving end. If truly the removal of subsidy has yielded so much development, so much results, are you feeling it? Are you experiencing it? Has it impacted you in any way? The Governor Sule has given his testimonial. Now, Governor Mba of Enugu State is giving the same thing. The governor launched 100 of the 200 CNG mass transit buses acquired by the administration, the Enugu State modern transport system, as well as over 80 modern bus shelters built. Now, the terminals visited and personally inaugurated were the Holy Ghost Terminal 1, Enugu Central Station 1, designated for interstate transport. Holy Ghost Terminal 2, Enugu Central Station 2, for intercity transportation. Nsukka Terminal, Nsukka Central Station, Abakpa Nike Terminal, Abakpa Central Station. Of course, addressing supporters at the Holy Ghost Terminal 2, the governor recalled that until the commencement of the project in late 2023, the Holy Ghost area was practically a synonym for chaotic traffic and general disorder. Continuing, he said, and I quote, "Aside from the fact it constituted a major municipal blight, we knew we could not attain our audacious economic goals if we lacked an efficient public transport system that offered both comfort and dignity." So we knew that our goal to make Enugu the most livable city in Nigeria will be a futile bid if we were unable to tackle problems such as persistent traffic gridlock. So from the very first day of this administration, we made a promise to build a world-class transport system that moves people connects businesses and communities, and crucially, that rightfully positions Enugu State as a model of modern governance, sustainable growth, and human dignity. Today's commissioning of the newly completed world-class terminals and the CNG bus mass transit scheme is indeed beyond a ribbon-cutting exercise. It ushers in a whole new experience, fundamentally connecting our vision to action and our action to the daily lives of the over 7 million residents of Enugu State. The governor explained that a transport agenda, a multi-modal highway to the future, integrating roads, rail, air, and waterways into one seamless, safe, and efficient ecosystem. Yeah, he also described the terminal as catalysts for economic development and engines of economic revival. They represent our capacity to deliver projects that empower Ndi Enugu and set our state on a robust trajectory of growth. Already, this project is creating jobs, stimulating SMEs, and positioning Enugu to compete with Africa's best. Through it, we are creating over 20,000 jobs across BRT to end of quotes. He said that Enugu Transport Management System is accounted for. So commuters simply need to purchase a ticket and top up as they find suitable. Remarkably, a single valid ticket grants the holder access to other buses. Importantly, our comprehensive insurance cover protects both the asset and the people who use them, end of quote. So Mba thanked President Tinubu for his commitment to the state's development, and in his goodwill message, the program director, CEO of the Presidential Initiative on CNG, Michael Oluwagbemi, an engineer who was represented by Tari Mayor Bright, also an engineer, commended Governor Mba for the ultra-modern terminal and mass development deployment of CNG buses. So those are the testimonials of two governors, all right, especially has after her closed door meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and of course most importantly after that meeting, she has urged the president to introduce social safety nets to protect vulnerable Nigerians from the harsh impact of the ongoing economic reforms. Of course, she made that those remarks while speaking to State House correspondents after her meeting with President Tinubu yesterday, Thursday. Okonjo said both the federal government and the World Trade Organization, WTO, had launched a women export fund to empower Nigerian women and boost their economic participation. Her comments come amid rising poverty levels, soaring inflation following the removal of fuel subsidy, and the floating of the naira in 2023. Two policies that have significantly increased living costs, across the country, right? Yeah. So I really want to get your reactions because she has said that she agrees that the move by Mr. President was necessary. Yes, to remove subsidy, and then beyond that, she appreciates the fact that that move has helped to stabilize the Nigerian economy. Let's not forget she was a two-time minister of finance and coordinating minister of the economy, both under President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and of course under President Olusegun Obasanjo. She till tomorrow is celebrated as one of the brilliant minds when it comes to economy, financing in Nigeria, and that is what has earned her position as Director General of the World Trade Organization. The World Bank had earlier projected that Nigeria's poverty rate would rise by 3.6% over the next 5 years, citing structural challenges such as over-reliance on natural resources and national fragility. Now, according to its Africa Pulse report, resource-rich and fragile countries like Nigeria are likely to experience worsening poverty levels compared to non-resource-rich African countries. Interesting, right? Yeah. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala acknowledging the effect of the reforms would require targeted support for the poorest Nigerians while creating jobs and increasing household incomes. Well, the WTO chief also highlighted the new Exporters Fund as part of these broader safety nets. So, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, right? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, right? And there is need. Like as I said at the start of this conversation, I truly want to see the reactions of other economists and financial experts, whether they share the same optimism with Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, because there have media and there have media and some have asked that is it just that she's looking at it as a financial expert, or is there more to it? You understand, of the removal of subsidy, that they have been able to carry out massive capital projects because of the removal of subsidy. I mean, states are taking home large take homes of money. Mr. President has always said that the conversation should not always be about the center. It shouldn't always be about the presidency, but more about how the governors are managing the allocations they are getting, and the idea is for the allocations to trickle down so that once states are able to stabilize their local economy, when a drop goes in, it creates a rippling effect. And I think that's what Mr. President has suggested by his statement that, look, also hold the governors accountable. And we've gotten 2 testimonials from Governor Sule of Nasarawa State. We've gotten the testimonial of Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State, who just yesterday launched 100 out of 200 CNG buses, and of course transport terminals across the state, all in a bid to improve the local economy of the state and make the state a model #1 destination in southeast Nigeria in terms of growth, development, and progressive infrastructural expansion. Now, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala also, there's a statement attributed to her where she said, and I quote, "Nigeria's debt for the first time in history has risen to 24 trillion in just 2 months, even after removing subsidy, is something unbelievable. I called several times to help and advise, but current administration, the fact that the removal of subsidy is also supposed to enhance our ability to reduce our debt burden. And under the wake of the removal of subsidy, we've seen situations where the current administration has continued to borrow. So people continue to ask that, okay, yeah, you've removed subsidy, where is all the money going? Now, you have said the states are taking large sums in terms of, large chunk. So, what are they? Where is that money going? So, So the phone lines are open to get your reactions. 0808 Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization (WTO), has lauded President Tinubu's economic reforms and impact on world trade the World Trade Organization. I don't know. Do you agree with her? Can you talk about the economic stability in the absence of national income, welfare, and quality of life of the citizens, per capita earning, value, and purchasing power of the currency? Developmental economist, she's said to be, or as her resume carries, or is she merely playing to the gallery, or maybe she's just an overrated backwoods economic junk, because if you look at the argument that some economists had put forward with regards to the economic reforms, some school of thought in the economic circuit and the financial sector have said we didn't need to follow the neo-economic structures of the World Bank, the IMF, as President Tinubu has chosen to do. And of course, so this is the conversation. This is the conversation. Do you agree with her? Do you agree that can we talk about economic stability in the absence of national income? I mean, she did talk about. She was the one that raised the alarm about 24 trillion as being our debt, just barely 2 months into the administration and removal of subsidy. And I'm happy she highlighted the need for social welfare nets for Nigerians to cushion the effect of subsidy removal and the economic reforms. We'll take a few messages, and when we return, of course, the phone lines will remain open to take your reactions. Don't forget, even if you don't get through on the phone lines, you can hit us up via text message, WhatsApp message on 0808 312
The president embarked on some reforms at the initial stage of his administration, and now he's told Nigerians that the economy is turning. The corner. What's the WTO's perception of Nigeria's economy?
So we think that the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy. And you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of
Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for working to stabilize Nigeria's economy and saying that reforms under his administration are moving in the right direction. Of course, she spoke yesterday at State House. She spoke with State House correspondents yesterday after a courtesy visit to the president. Okonjo-Iweala said her discussions with President centered on the launch of a landmark initiative aimed at empowering Nigerian women in the unneeded stability. She stressed that the combination of economics to job creation and under President Olusegun Obasanjo and of course under President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Minister of Finance, coordinating Minister of the Economy, and she says a financial expert that's listening to this conversation who has heard her reactions yesterday because it was cost of living, unemployment, so that kinds of brings to the table the question: is she really the super developmental economist that her CV, tells us? I mean, she's one of Nigeria's most celebrated minds as far as the financial and economic sector is concerned, or maybe she's just an overrated backwoods economic junk, sorry to say, or she's just merely playing to the gallery. I mean, you tell me. That's why the phone lines are open. We're live and interactive on all our social media platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter. And don't forget, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, and most importantly, click on the notification button so that you can open. The number to call 0808-312-8618. Yes, 0808-312-8618, so that you can be part of the conversation right here on the show. So again, do you agree with the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, that Tinubu's economic reforms are in the right direction? I mean, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about economic stability in the absence of national income, welfare and quality of life of the citizens. I mean, tell me what your quality of life is. Can you afford 3 square meal? Can you afford 2 square meal? And if you can afford 1 square meal, how is that 1 square meal? What's the ratio? Is it 001 or 100 or 010? I mean, Nigeria has become the capital of permutations. You tell me. 0808-312-8618 is the number. And as I did say, if you can't reach us on through the phone line, we're in Nigeria. You can't guarantee on the networks. So if you can't hit us up through the lines, hit us up via WhatsApp on 0808-312-8618, or send us a SMS, short message service, or text message like we like to call it in this part of the world, to 0808-312-8618. I really need to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, I know at this point, the typical Nigerian way of handling things is like it has been said over time that push a Nigerian to the wall and he becomes the the wall. So is it that we have become the wall in this situation? I mean, Governor Sule says this is far better than the era of Abacha when we had the PTF. He said it's also far better than Shopi under the likes of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Because what was his reason for giving this example? He said under the current administration, the money is shared across board, federal, state, local government. Shared across board, federal, state, local government. Yeah, he said right now, local governments are taking home, I think about between 5 to 7 billion, and are able to save. They are able to pay salaries. They are able to meet their commitments at the local government level. And you and I will agree that the local government is the closest to the people, especially at the grassroots. So government is the closest to the people, especially at the grassroots. And then Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu, as he begins to activate his integrated transport model, for Enugu State, both intrastate and intercity transport system. He has also built what has been referred to as world-class terminals across Enugu State, and he attributes these achievements to the fact of one, the removal of subsidy, and the fact that the states can now are now taking home much money than they've ever had in a long while. And of course, Mr. President has continued to emphasize the need to ask for the governors to be accountable to where the monies they are getting is going. So in the right direction. And like she said, it's now about achieving growth. Stability to some extent has been achieved. So now it's time to begin to look at how to achieve growth, inclusive growth, external growth, all encompassing growth, economic growth, social developmental growth, growth at all levels, both at federal, state, and local government level. And of course, with the hope that it all rubs off, on the average Nigerian. So, tell me, what do you think? Do you agree with her? I mean, what part of this whole reform machinery or reform instrument it has affected you? I mean, from economic stability in the absence of national income, welfare. Though don't forget, I think earlier this week, of course, reports broke that Nigeria's oil production output has increased, and as a result of that increase, the first half of 2025 has witnessed significant increase in our revenue from accruing from the sale of crude oil. Yeah, so I think at this point, what we require is a whole lot of objectivity. In as much as yes, the economic reforms are biting, but there seems to be some achievements. There seems to be some results, and I don't think it will be proper for us to deny the fact that those results have also come as a result of some of the phone lines are open 0808-312-8618. Let's hear. I mean, I really would like to hear how all of this is affecting you. I mean, the quality of life, your quality of life. I mean, per capita earning, value, purchasing power, especially of the currency, cost of living. Tell me, what's the cost of living for you, especially for those of us living within the FCT and its environs? I mean, unemployment, has there been some improvement? We hear that the federal government is about to initiate to be employed in any of those 2 million or be some positives, some results, right? We can't deny it. But I would align with the average Nigerian that, look, the only way those results will mean anything is if the average Nigerian can at least have 2 to 3 square meals on the table every day, clothes on their back, roof over their head, accessible water, potable water, or access to clean drinking water, power, cheap, will I say cheap? Affordable power. I'm saying it's not as if we cannot get 24 hours, but okay, we understand. It was 24 hours. At least give us 12. At least give us 16, thereabout, Yeah, so that we can begin to enjoy the true dividends of democracy. And then on top of that, security. Yes. Can we sleep with both eyes closed? Or do we? When will we stop sleeping with one eye open, one eye closed? During the front page review, on one of the have attacked Yelwater again. We hear that even in Kwara, there are communities that have become ghost town because of bandits. A whole lot is happening. So, in as much as the economists such as Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, may be looking at their papers and looking at the numbers, though any accountant will tell you that the numbers don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie. So she's looking at the numbers and it's looking good. She's looking at the graph and it's looking good, and she say, hey, it's not all that bad. We're making progress. Fine. But for the man, the average Nigerian, the man and woman on the street, what's their experience? How do they see it? Do they feel that there's any change between 2023 and now? I mean, we're spending more. Though one of the stories making the rounds also is the fact that NNPC has says that I think they've slashed the price of petrol to about 830 thereabouts. So, but Nigerians will argue, what was the price of petrol before the removal of subsidy? I mean, astronomical increase, right? Yeah, and all of that. So, yeah, the conversation, we will continue to have this conversation, and I must be honest with you if you're hearing me, because my spider sense is tingling and is saying, look, Nigerians right now, like, look, we don't talk tire. We don't talk. We've had protests. We've done all kinds of, and yet nothing. And then make them just they talk the one when they won't talk. Meaning, yeah, Dr. Ngozi is entitled to our opinion. Tinubu is entitled to his opinion. But what matters is how to survive. You understand? The hustle, the grind, How do I put food on the table? How do I pay? Right now, the kids are at home. They're on holiday. I